G'day, Eagles faithful. How are we all going? Before we get stuck into this massive tactical breakdown regarding the future of our defense, do me a huge favor, smash that like button, leave a comment on which style you reckon fits the birds best, and follow the channel so you don't miss a single beat of this offseason that's absolutely fair dinkum on fire. This is your spot, and let's get right into it. If you've been flat out with work, the kids, or just trying to wrap your head around the end of the season, you might have missed the absolute whirlwind of news that's hit the Novacare complex this February. To say things are a bit hectic is the understatement of the century. The wound from Jeff Stoutland's retirement is still fresh, and the whispers that we might lose legends like Lane Johnson and Landon Dickerson to retirement are only making things more tense. In the middle of all this chaos, we got a bit of a mixed bag. Vic Fangio, after thinking about hanging up the whistle, has decided to stick around as our DC for another year. But the real shocker comes from Cleveland. Jim Schwartz, the architect of our Super Bowl 52 defense, has walked out on the Browns after being snubbed for the head coach gig. Now, the fans and the media are already daydreaming. What if Schwartz came back in 2027? To figure out if this dream makes any sense, we've got to put the clipboards down and compare two of the biggest defensive brains in recent NFL history. Fangio versus Schwartz isn't just about picking names, it's about picking an identity. The basic difference between the two can be boiled down to two words: aggression versus manipulation. Jim Schwartz is a purist when it comes to being aggressive. His trademark is the wide 9 front, where the defensive ends line up way out wide, almost in the car park, with one goal: relentless penetration. He wants his defensive line to set the tempo, wreck the pocket, and get to the QB before he can even blink. For Schwartz, the best defense is a non-stop attack at the line of scrimmage. Vic Fangio, on the other hand, is playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers. His philosophy is built on a too-high safety shell, focused on disguise and manipulation. He doesn't just want to pressure the QB, he wants to mess with his head. Through sneaky pre-snap looks and late rotations, Fangio forces the passer to second-guess himself. He manipulates the space and uses tactical smarts to bait the QB into a mistake. This is where the split is clear as day. In Schwartz's system, the D-line has a green light to charge up the field. This gets heaps of sacks, but it has a side effect: the run game. Since the big blokes are focused on attacking gaps to get to the QB, they often leave massive lanes open for running backs. Schwartz is okay with getting gashed on the ground if it means punishing the opposition's quarterback. Fangio, however, demands gap integrity. His blokes need to be more patient and disciplined. He also pressures with 4, but you never know which 4. It could be a linebacker or a safety coming on a disguised blitz. In Fangio's system, the defense changes every week. In Schwartz's, the execution is the same, and the challenge is, I'm stronger than you, try and stop me. If you're an elite cornerback, you'd probably love playing for Jim Schwartz. He loves cover 1 and cover 3, leaving his corners on islands in man-to-man. The plan is simple: the front 4 get home fast, and the corners hold the line. But if your corner is just average, he's going to get exposed, just like we saw back in the day. Fangio prefers cover 2, 4, and 6. He demands a massive footy IQ from his secondary. The communication has to be spot on because the players swap responsibilities mid-play. In Fangio's world, the coverage dictates the pressure, not the other way around. It's a much more collective and cerebral way to play the game. One thing that always did our heads in during the Schwartz era was the lack of love for the linebacker position. Schwartz, much like Andy Reid, saw linebackers as replaceable or just clean-up blokes for whatever the D-line missed. He loved positionless players, which often left us vulnerable in the middle. With Fangio, we've actually seen this unit valued. We've got talent at linebacker now that we haven't seen in yonks. Fangio needs versatile blokes who can read coverage and plug gaps perfectly. A move back to Schwartz in 2027 could mean throwing that philosophy in the bin. The truth is, Schwartz brings a sense of security and instant respect, especially in Philly where he's already got the silverware to prove it. He dictates the game with raw aggression. Fangio, on the other hand, offers a chameleon-like defense, able to adapt to any modern attack with patience and strategy. Bringing Schwartz back would be a move towards the familiar, the comfortable, aggressive DNA of the city. But it'd also be a risk of going back to a predictable style that elite offenses have already worked out. The question for Howie Roseman is, do we want to set the tempo or control the chaos?